Oh, I have to retract this. Last episode we talked about how they were dyeing like elephants and rhinos' tusks green. That is not true. Oh. That was like a big hoax internet, one of those things that just like runs rampant on the internet. No, that's not actually going on anywhere. I wish it was, but no. Yeah. Because I guess you could just shave the pink off. So that's a retraction. Just for anyone who was wondering and was happy that was a thing. It's not actually true. I'm sorry. We'll do better research next time.
Yes.
I'm living for this topic today.
Me too. I'm so excited. This is maybe my favorite topic we've done so far. I'm obsessed with personality.
How it like influences everything. Yes.
I love personality quizzes and interpretations, so this will be a good one. Maybe we should say what the topic is.
Yeah, let's roll the intro music first. Renault. Welcome back to Basic and Beyond. I'm Christina.
I'm Lauren.
Today we are talking about astrology.
Yay!
I'm so excited. I feel like this is running rampant in social media and pop culture, and everyone's about it right now. So I guess we'll just hop on into it. I can give like a brief...
Yeah, well, I'll just say, so what we're going to do is Christina will give us a brief overview of different types of signs that supposedly affect your personality and other areas of your life possibly, and we will each be reading our birth chart reports.
Ooh.
Very exciting. And then we will also be reading a brief interpretation of those reports that should supposedly tell us what our personalities are like. So we're going to compare and contrast and see how accurate those readings are.
If you have no idea what we're talking about, don't you worry, your pretty little head. We will get into it. I look like I'm a lot louder than you.
Yeah, that's what I was concerned about.
I'll lean back a little bit. Sorry if I sound a lot louder than Lauren. Actually, it's okay.
Maybe you're louder than me because your ascending sign says that you come off as more
I'm a loud person.
Outgoing. Mm-hmm.
Well, all of my signs say shit like that. So let's hop in. So at its base form, I'm kind of just going to read you guys like a straight up quote from the internet. Astrology in its like simplest form is the study of the movements and relative positions of celestial bodies interpreted as having an influence on human affairs and the natural world. So essentially like the big giant planets and stars out in space moving around affect how you go about your day-to-day business and like what happens to us, not just on a physical level. So like one of the articles I was reading was like a lot of people, like obviously it's scientific fact the moon affects the tides. Mm-hmm. So it's technically not scientific fact. But again, at its simplest level, it's not unlike a complex clock. It uses the motions of the planets in a similar way to the movements of the hands on a clock face. So, like, for example, if it said it was 8:45 in the morning on a weekday, then you would probably think that there was a strong likelihood that there was going to be a lot of traffic and people are hurrying to work. So the clock isn't creating the rush hour traffic, but it's, like, indicative of the rush hour. So that's just like a brief synopsis of it. Take it at its face value. Mm-hmm. We're just investigating right now.
Yes, we are not saying this is fact.
Definitely not.
No, we're just entertaining these ideas for the purposes of this podcast.
If you think this is all bullshit, that's fine. But it is kind of interesting, so you guys should keep listening. So what we know, pretty much what modern astrology is to us, is called the Hellenistic astrology, and it was created by the Babylonians. Supposedly it started with the Babylonians. I'm sure that there were like influences earlier on, but I mean astrology's been around since the dawn of time. And so Hellenistic astrology is the zodiac. So when that dude walks up to you and says, "What's your sign, baby?" He's referring to Hellenistic astrology. And so after I'm not going to bore you with like a ton of the history, but some of it's actually really interesting. So the zodiac, which is derived from the Greek word meaning circle of animals, is believed to have developed in ancient Egypt and later adopted by the Babylonians. So then the Greeks stole it from the Babylonians. And so basically the reason that there's like 12 signs or whatever is because the astrologers knew it took 12 lunar cycles or months for the sun to return to its original position. So they identified the 12 constellations that they observed were linked to the progression of the seasons and assigned them names of certain animals and persons. And so you probably know your sun sign. So if someone asks you like what your sign is, you'll say your sun sign. And it just means what constellation the sun was in when you were born. So the signs of the zodiac, there's 3 fire signs: Aries, Sagittarius, and Leo. That's me. I'm a fire sign. Water signs, which is Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. What are you?
Taurus.
What's your sun sign?
My sun sign is Taurus. I'm an earth sign.
Okay. So there's air signs, which are Libra, Aquarius, and Gemini, and earth signs, which are Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo. I'm a Virgo! No, I'm not a Virgo, but if you guys watch Jenna Marbles. So each of these 4 groups are inscribed in its own quadrant, or houses, on a circle.
So can you tell us what the sun sign supposedly means in terms of your personality? What does it represent?
Yeah. Like I said, you probably already know your sun sign, but that's actually only representative of like a certain part of you. Supposedly. All of this I'm gonna caveat with supposedly. The sign that you select when you're like reading your horoscope is your sun sign. But the sun talks about your ego. So meaning like the I am. What drives you to be who you are and how you identify yourself. So like I would say that I am outgoing. And so that's what your sun sign depicts. And since we're getting into this, I guess I'll continue on with that. There's like 3 legs of your birth chart, which are essentially they're like the three signs that are like most going to describe you the best. And they're your sun sign, your moon sign, and your ascendant. So we'll get into that. But the moon is like the second most, well, you can't really measure them by importance, but essentially the moon speaks about your emotional self and what you need to feel secure and safe and nurtured. So we go to our moon when we need to restore ourselves. So like whatever makes you feel comforted, I guess, is how your moon sign can be described. And this will like make sense later when me and Lauren go through our birth charts. And then your last leg is your ascendant, which a lot of people don't know about, but can be argued is actually more representative of you than your moon sign or your sun sign, which is really interesting. It's based on the constellation that was on the horizon at the exact time of your birth. So if you're doing a birth chart and you don't know what time you were born, you won't know your ascendant. So like, does that make sense if it was on the horizon? So it was like coming up over the...
Yes. And so just a few minutes or hours...
Right, can make a difference. And also like where you were born makes a huge difference. It's described that this sign represents how others see you. So when you first meet someone, we're likely to meet their rising sign or their ascendant. And then since, like we just said, the ascendant sign changes every 2 hours or so, that's why you have to be so accurate or you won't get a good representation. So those are like the 3 legs for which your birth chart stands on. Let's jump into our birth charts. Do you want to go first?
Well, I just want to say something like when you're talking about astrology, a lot of people will say, oh, there's only 12 signs and there can't be only 12 types of people in the world, so it's not real. And I'm not saying it's real, but there's so much more that goes into it than just your sun sign. It's all of these different things that in combination make up your unique personality. So it's not just there's only 12 types of people because there are only 12 signs. So just something to think about.
I know other Leos who are very much not like me.
Yes.
And it makes sense when you find out their ascendant or their moon sign. It's like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yes.
All right. Do you want to go first, or do you want to we'll start with our moon or our sun?
Yeah, let's start with our sun and go from there.
Okay, you go first.
Okay, so my sun is Taurus. I was born on May 12th in Columbus, Indiana. Oh, also, my parents, neither of them know what time I was born.
My dad.
Yep. My birth certificate does not say. My dad said he thinks in the afternoon, so I just went with 3 o'clock p.m. Doesn't matter for your sun sign, so definitely right. Taurus. Let's see. I can read a brief description of my sun sign. So your sun sign is basically like who you are at the core, right? It's your base. It's the base of your... The,
in quotes, I am. So like, I am loyal. I am friendly. Those are just examples.
Yes. Right here. Okay. So Taurus is an earth sign. So that pretty much means we're dependable, solid. Let's see. One of the main hallmarks of a Taurus is that they are very loyal. It's the sign of the bull. So that represents stubbornness. We're supposedly very stubborn.
Are you stubborn? I wouldn't think you're stubborn.
I think I'm stubborn about things that are important to me. It just depends on and what I qualify as important. So I'm stubborn about very personal things, and there are some things that I won't budge on, but we'll see. My other parts of my personality make me more willing to go with the flow sometimes. So Taurus natives are sensual folk, and this includes sex, but extends to pleasures in all areas. They delight in the sensual pleasures of food, yes. A comfortable blanket, yes. A richly colored aquarium to look at, yes. I love aquariums. Okay, this is 100% accurate now that it said that. Just kidding. The smell of flowers of spring rain, pleasing melodies coming from their stereos, and so forth. Some might even say they live through their senses more than most. Let's see. Taurus likes to own things and sometimes people. A nice home, a piece of land, this can be modest. A paid-off car, a couple pets, maybe a solid business. In love and relationship, there's an earthy kind of possessiveness that may be considered jealousy by some. I'm a very jealous person in my relationship. Yes, for sure. I agree with that.
Not in a bad way, though.
No.
It's like it's not like a possessive jealous. No. It's just kind of like, bitch, back off.
I've chilled out. In high school, I used to be crazy, but now I think I've relaxed a little bit. But I'm definitely jealous. But so is he, so it's okay. We understand each other.
I mean, I'm a jealous person.
Yeah. Let's see. Rarely jealous and petty. It says there is quite a difference between being possessive and being jealous. So it may be considered jealousy by some, but they do, however, think of the people they love as theirs. It adds to their sense of security. She is strong-willed, she has charm, and is tolerant and stoical. She likes pleasure and the good things in life, appreciates the arts. Weaknesses: obstinacy, I don't know this word again.
Obstinate, just you're obstinate.
Obstinacy, what does that mean?
Like stubborn. Okay.
Laziness. She can be materialistic.
Do you feel that you are that way?
I don't. Somewhat, but I wouldn't say that one of the main things to describe me is stubborn or lazy. I don't feel that way. I do feel I feel very grounded. I feel like I'm a steady person. I like security, all that. And I do see how I can kind of be lazy in some areas, but I know when to stop.
Right.
And I really don't feel like I'm that materialistic. I do value...
It's interesting because, I think people that don't know you might think that you're materialistic, which is weird that that's not coming up in your ascendant. Maybe it will. We haven't
Actually, it might. Oh, we will see.
To be explored.
I can see that. I like to present myself well. Yeah. That's important to me, my presentation. But as long as I don't know, when I think of a materialistic person, I think of someone who expensive things just for the sake of having
Designer
expensive
names.
things.
Yeah,
Right. Just to
right.
have designer. And I'm not like that. I like to have nice things, but I don't necessarily care about labels. I'll do what I can to make my appearance in my home nice, but